Hey, what's up everybody, Education Box here. Welcome to my first video in which we will be looking at 6 really cool math tricks which you can show off to your friends or in classes. So let's say we want to square the number 23. The first thing that we want to do when we square a number is to get it to the nearest multiple of 10. So 23 rounded to the nearest multiple of 10 is 20. Now we have to take that interval between 20 and 23, which is 3, and also go up by 3. So 23 was our original number. We go down by 3 to get 20 and up by 3 to get 26. Now, this makes it easier for us to multiply them. So now we can easily do 20 times 26. Now 20 times 26, you can do this two ways. You can just do 10 times 26 and then multiplied by 2, or whatever method that you want. Now if we do that, we actually get 520. Now the final step is to square the number that you went up and down with. So the number that we went up and down with is 3. So we have to square 3, which is 9, and then add it to our previous answer, which is 520, and you get 529. Now I'm going to generate a random number and put a stopwatch to see how fast I can solve it, and I will still explain my steps. So 49, so then that's 50 times 48, and that's basically, we can do 2401. Okay, so what I did there is I rounded it to 50 and got 50 times 48. Now since 50 is half of 100, I could multiply 48 by 100 and then divide it by 2 later on, which would be a much simpler calculation. So that would be 4,800 divided by 2, which is 2,400, and then adding on 1 squared, which is 1 obviously, to get 2,401. Now if we check our answer, it is 2,401. Okay, so now the second trick that we're going to do is similar to the first trick, as in it's still squaring a number, however it is squaring numbers that end with a 5. So now let's take the example of 35. So to now make this really simple, all we need to do is find the number that comes after 3, which is the first digit, and then multiply them together and then attach 5 at the end. I'll explain this later. So now let's just do this. So the number that comes after 3 is 4. 3 times 4 is 12, and then you attach a 25 at the end to make it 1225. And now the reason why we attach 25 at the end is because 5 times 5 is always going to be 25, obviously. So now if we check our answer, 35 times 35, the answer is 1225. Now we can just try an example. Let's say we have the number 75. The number that comes after 7 is 8, so we need to multiply those two numbers together to get 56, and then we have to attach a 25 to the end to get 5625. And now if we check our answer, over here, 75 times 75 is equal to 5625. So now I'm going to think of a random number and try solving it as fast as I can. So let's say I have the number 65, that would just be 6 times 7, which is 42, so it's 4,225. It's that simple. So now this third trick is more of a trick to impress your friends with. So now this would only work with 3-digit numbers. Now let's say you ask your friends, how fast can you multiply 344 by 7, 11, and 13. Now you may think, oh my gosh, that's actually such a difficult calculation. However, this is a very simple calculation. All you need to do is just duplicate the number again. So let's say we have the number 344, it would be 344, 344, meaning it would be 344,344. Now you may be, wait, what? So the way this works is that 7 times 11 times 13 is actually 1001. And if you multiply a number by 1,000, you're just adding 3 zeros onto it. And if you add one more, you would just be adding the number itself. So like, let's say the number 634 times 1,000 is 634,000, but then if it's multiplying it by 1,001, you would add 634 again. Now that's the way it works. You can do this with any 3-digit number. So let's say you have 942 multiplied by 7 times 11 times 13, you would just have to do 942 and 42, and then duplicate it again. So 942,942. Now this fourth trick will be very useful. This trick is how to multiply any number by 11, no matter how many digits or what the number is. So let's say we have the number 23 times 11. Now I can say this literally, it's as easy as 2 plus 3. So the reason why it is 2 plus 3 is because the digits of the 23 are 2 and 3, and if you add them together you get 5, and you just have to put them in the middle of the first number, which is 23, and put 5 in the middle, which is 253. Now this may be a little confusing, so let me do another example. Let's say we have, let me just generate a random number, 6 times 11. Let's say we have 41 times 11. Now what we have to do is add 4 and 1 to get 5, and then put it in the middle of 41 to get 451. Don't believe me? Here's the calculation. 41 times 11 is 450. Now this sounds crazy, but you can do this with any amount of digits in a number. You can even multiply it by a number with 50 digits. Okay, so now you may be wondering, well, what if the numbers add up to a number that is greater than 10? Now, let's take the example of 86 times 11. 8 plus 6 is 14, but we can't do 8,146 as our answer. What we have to do is take the second digit of the number that we added up, which is 4, put it in the middle, and carry the 1 over the 8 to make it a 9. So 86 times 11 is 946. Let's do another example by using our random number generator. Just generate until I get a number. Okay, so 77. Now, so if we multiply 77 by 11, we have to add 7 and 7 together, which is 14. We have to take the 4, put it in the middle to get 747, and then carry the 1 over the 7 to get 847. And if we check over here, 77 times 11 is 847. So this sixth math trick is very useful, however it's very simple as well. So this trick is to divide any number by 5 quickly. So let's say we have the number 5,244. What we need to do is multiply the number by 2, which is simple. Multiplying it by 2, which is 10,488. And then you have to divide your answer by 10 to get 1,048.8. Now let's try this with a smaller, simpler number to see if it actually works. So let's say we have the number 50. Now to divide 50 by 5, we have to multiply it by 2, which is 100, and then divide it by 10, which is 10. And we obviously know that 50 divided by 5 is 10. And this works because when you multiply something by 10 and divide it by 2, it's essentially just dividing it by 5, but in an easier way. So this final trick will be very useful when you want to find out divisibility of numbers. So we will be learning how to check the divisibility of numbers between 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10. So let's get started with divisibility of 3 tests. So what you need to do to check if a number is divisible by 3 is to add up all of the digits and then check if that number is divisible by 3. So let's say we have the number 36. Now we have to add the digits in the number 3 and 6 to get 9, and we know that 9 is divisible by 3, which means that 36 is also divisible by 3. You can do this with any amount of digits on even a larger scale. So let's say you have the number 345. So then you have to add the digits 3 plus 4 plus 5 to get 12. And we know that 12 is also divisible by 3, which means that 345 is as well. So this test will be to check if numbers are divisible by 4. So if you want to check if a number is divisible by 4, just ignore every other digit apart from the final 2 digits. And if the final 2 digits are divisible by 4, it means that the whole number is divisible by 4. Now let's say you have the example of 945,832. Now you just take the final 2 digits, which are 32, and 32 divided by 4 is 8. Which means that it is divisible by 4, which means that the whole number is divisible by 4. to check the divisibility of 5, it's really easy. I'm sure everybody knows this. You just need to see if the final digit is a 0 or a 5. If it is, then it is definitely divisible by 5. Now, to check if a number is divisible by 6, we have to use something that we already learned in this tutorial. So, first off, the prime factors of 6 are 2 and 3, which means that if a number is divisible by 6, it has to be divisible by 2 and 3 as well. Now, to check if a number is divisible by 2, it obviously just has to be an even number. It's pretty simple. And for 3, we just learned that you have to add up the digits and check if that is divisible by 3. And if both of those are true, the number is divisible by 6. Now, to check if a number is divisible by 9, you have to use the same principle to check if a number is divisible by 3. So let's say you have a really big number, like 3,684,654. Now, if we add up all of those digits, we get 36. And 36 is divisible by 9, which means that that whole number is also divisible by 9. And finally, last and probably the easiest is to check if a number is divisible by 10. It's just that if the number ends in a 0, that means that it's divisible by 10 evenly. And as always, thanks for watching.